Hello friends. So the question is, which of the following figures represents uniform motion of a moving object correctly? So there are four distance time graph given and we have to identify the one which shows uniform motion. So now in the kinematics chapter we know that the two graphs which we discuss is one is distance time graph, distance or displacement time graph, distance or displacement time graph, and second is speed or velocity time graph, so in this question there are four distance time graphs are given. Okay, now we have to figure out which one represents uniform motion. So our distance time graph represents uniform motion when it is a straight line, straight line at an angle to the time axis. Now the angle or inclination of that straight line should not be equal to 0 and should not be equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so out of all these four, the one distance time graph in which the graph is inclined to time axis but neither it is making an angle 0 nor 90 degree is 1. So this is the one which represents uniform motion. Now let's see, why does a straight line represent a uniform motion? Now uniform motion means constant velocity. So constant velocity, that means if a body is traversing with a constant velocity, then its average velocity will also be equal to constant velocity. Now what was average velocity in a motion? V average is given by S2 minus S1 divided by T2 minus T1. This is nothing but total displacement or distance in the case of a straight line motion, total displacement or distance. Now we are assuming the motion is happening in a straight line, total distance divided by total time. This is what is average velocity. Now this is mathematically slope of the ST curve. Okay, now if we find the slope of a straight line, so this let's draw it here. So the slope of a straight line is always constant. So let's say I have to find out the slope of this line. So I drop a perpendicular between any 2 points on both the displacement and time axis. Okay, now slope is given by this y and by this x. This y is nothing but delta s and this x is nothing but delta t, where this is time axis and this is displacement or distance axis. So if you see, slope is nothing but delta s by delta t, which is nothing but s2 minus s1 by t2 minus t1. Now slope of the straight line always remains constant. So this delta s by delta t is also average velocity. Now average velocity remains constant since the slope is constant. So if average velocity is constant throughout the motion, that means it is moving with constant velocity. So hence in this case option A is correct. Now this represents a accelerating motion. So here 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 this is accelerating motion, this is decelerating motion. Why? Because distance keeps on decreasing as time increases. Okay, and this one is a body which is at rest. Why? Because the distance is not changing with time. So time keeps on increasing, but the distance is same. So the body is not moving at all. So you can see this is at rest, this is decelerating, this is accelerating, and this is uniform motion. So answer is A.